I do understand the argument that I get from some libertarians that say, well, term limits are elections. And I do understand that. But given the current situation right now, given the fact that the advantage that the incumbents have, and that the fact that in all of recent history, the amount of incumbents that are replaced is very small. It'll raise up this year, so that's a good thing. But I do believe that we have to get those instituted into Washington, D.C. in order to truly go back to a citizen legislator.
Yeah, well put, well put. The balanced budget amendment, obviously for a fiscal conservative, that would make sense. Let's talk a quick second about the non-interventionist foreign policy. You know, before the show, you and I were bantering about a little bit that somebody like you, an 8-year Marine Corps veteran in the military, some people might just assume that that's an oxymoron to have a person in the military who's in favor of a non-interventionist foreign policy. What has led you to that conclusion, and why do you feel strongly about that issue? Well,
I think that the same argument that you hear a lot of times from some people that are in the conservative camp when it comes to entitlement programs, that make, you know, good initiative, bad idea. Bad results come from it when you're giving money to people. When you're spending money overseas and you're intervening in other countries, you may have all the good thoughts in the world, but only bad results come from that. We have to allow countries to rise up and replace, if they have tyrannical regimes, to rise up and replace them. And going with free trade with all and entangling alliances with none is a warning that our founders gave us, and one that I think we need to recognize. The other thing is we just can't afford it anymore, and it's unconstitutional. I mean, if we're going to go to war, we need to declare that war. And for far too long, since World War II, we've been in constant battles with this kind of foreign policy, and it hasn't been very effective. So I think that we should go back to what the founders envisioned of this country when it came to foreign policy. And one thing that's funny is, a lot of people do think that the military would be very much opposed to a non-interventionist foreign policy, and yet in the 2008 election, the one Republican that was in the race that was preaching the same message, who was a Libertarian presidential candidate at one point, got more money from the military than everyone else. So the military spoke with their wallet, and they spoke loud and clear, and I think that the American public would be much greater of a greater benefit if they actually would listen to what the people in the military were saying at that point.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I find that you know, frequently people are astounded when I point out to them, just as you mentioned, that of all the military engagements and involvements that we've had since World War II, the last time we actually formally declared war, actually followed the process outlined in the Constitution, the last time we did that actually was World War II, 1941.
Absolutely.
So, and you think about all the military interventions that we had over that time, it's actually quite amazing, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, and a lot of those places that we have that intervention, and we're still there. In Korea, we're still there. And we have troops in Germany and Japan and you know, 100 and something countries around the world right now. I think that people, when you say this, they go, well, you don't support a strong national defense. Just the opposite. I actually do support a strong national defense, and I believe that the strategy that we're currently using right now is actually counterproductive to that national defense.
Yeah, it certainly puts troops in harm's way, allows them to be a tripwire for escalating involvements and things along those lines. If you're there, you have a chance to get into some mischief, I think, is the bottom line. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Immigration reform is also something that you feature on your website. Alex, why is that an important issue for you?
Well, because I think right now, illegal immigration is incentivized and legal immigration is decentivized, and that we need to adjust this accordingly. Now, once again, there's some people in the Libertarian Party that definitely have different viewpoints on what would be the proper way to fix the immigration debate. Some people are more for open borders, some people are more to fix the problem. I think that because we have such an entitlement society right now, that what we have to do is we have to secure the borders. We have to enforce laws on corporations that are hiring people here illegally. The next thing we have to do is make sure that if you are here illegally, that you're not taking the benefits of any of the current entitlement programs that we have. But we also need to streamline the process to allow people to come to this country legally. Once again, this country was founded on immigration. It's going to continue to be founded on immigration. Normally, whatever sector of immigrants that are coming in are normally very hardworking people. They're trying to make a life for themselves in this country. It happened with when the Germans were coming over, when the Irish were coming over, when the Italians were coming over. It's no different now whether they're coming from South America. We need to embrace these people. We need to make sure that they're integrated into the culture, into the society. But I think we need an orderly process in which to do that. Yeah. But we also need to address immigration reform, entitlement reform, that is part of it. Not to mention, this is another great example of why the current drug policy that we have in this country is failing us, because a lot of the violence and crime on the border has to do with the drug policy. Now, instead of trying to enforce something that you can't even keep out of your prisons, we need to actually go with a more sensible drug policy, go back to what the founders envisioned again, and say let the states deal with it as they see fit, and get the federal government out of the way.
Yeah, again, very, very well put. And Phil, I'm going to get your reaction to some of Alex's platform positions here in just a minute, but one additional item for you, the energy independence issue. What's your take on that, and why is that an important issue to you?
Well, I think it's a national security issue, and I think that we need, now once again, the way that the energy sector works, you know, when it comes to oil and different things, it's not like we're going to use only our own and that's it. It's going to go into the marketplace, but what I think that, what I would consider to be energy independence is if we were cut off from the rest of the world, that we would have enough energy to be able to actually create, you know, to be able to fuel all of the different things that we do in this country now. Yes. But I think that we need to explore every possible source when it comes to energy, whether it be natural gas, oil, coal, but also renewable energy when it comes to solar, when it comes to wind, when it comes to anything that we can use that will be an energy source. I have a lot of different people actually come to me with different ideas. Thorium is one of the other ideas that's a very clean, non-radioactive nuclear type of material that you could use. I think when it comes to renewable energy, though, where you hear a lot of the Democrats talk about renewable energy, they want to talk about how they're going to control it. Yeah. In reality, all they're doing is switching who you're getting your energy from. I think that the goal for renewable energy should be that the individual has the energy and is able to create it themselves. And then if they don't use as much as they need, then they can sell it back to the energy companies at that point. It will truly give people the power to decide you know, how much energy you're going to use. And if you did that, then you would naturally, through the free market, actually buy vehicles that ran off the energy that you created yourself. Yeah. So if you do worry about global warming and carbon emissions, which once again, I think that doesn't, I think global warming is something that's cyclical, it's not something that's man-made. But let's just say you agree with those things. The method that we would go about trying to fix this actually, I think, would be a much freer method. It would allow for individual liberty and still accomplish the goals that many people in the environmental movement are looking to do.
Yeah, well put, well put. Phil, what's your reaction to Alex's platform position? Good stuff, huh?
Absolutely, that's why I support him. And one thing I have to say to people, some people, they like to pick the one thing they don't like, and well, I won't support him because I only agree with him 90%. Look, do you agree with the other candidates 100%? Probably not. Right. Like some people don't like the fair tax. I focus on the fact that however we collect taxes, he's going to limit government, so the taxes will go down however we collect them. Other people are going to raise taxes. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, while you've got the microphone, Phil, why don't you tell the folks out there about some of the upcoming local events that are going to be happening here in Duval County, tell them how they can get in touch with the local Libertarians, and maybe slip in a little bit of a plug about your own campaign.
Well, if you guys want to meet Alex, he'll actually be in our area this Saturday. Today is September 15th. On the it's the 18th and 19th. Is that when you're going to be in St. Augustine? There's a tea party. We'll have it on our website. It'll be in St. Augustine. Marco Rubio might be there as well. We're not sure about that. Tomorrow, the 16th, Thursday, the third Thursday of every month at 6:30 p.m. at the Golden Corral, across from Tinseltown, our regular meeting for the Libertarian Party of Duval County. And you can check us out on the internet at jaxlp.org or check out our meetup site. Also, real quickly, I'm running for Soil and Water Board. Check me out at LABE 2010. Please donate money. People don't like to donate money because it's just a Soil and Water Board, but I do need some money. Also, donate to this guy. He needs more money worse than I do. A week after the Tea Party, on the 25th, also in St. Augustine, there's a Pride event, like the Gay Pride, and we're going to have a booth there, too. So if you happen to be at the event, stop by and say hi to us.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we've got a lot of local activities going on. That's great.